Hey, Ellen. How's it going, bro?
Excuse me? My name is Alan, not Ellen.
Oh, okay, yeah. My bad. I didn't know that, Ellen.
I just told you my name is not Ellen, it's Alan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, Ellen. Wow. Welcome to Only the Truth. That's all you're gonna get. Let's get into it.
Hello, and thanks for tuning back in and checking in with the next video. Today we're going to do a little bit of a step aside from the series that I've been working on so that I can cover something that I think is kind of important because I've heard a lot of people say some things about names and the proper meaning of names. So I'm going to go with this. And you probably, most all of you heard the old adage, what's in a name, right? So it's a very generic and misleading statement. It's been used to discredit and replace the meanings of proper names for centuries. But the factual truth is that names have meanings, very specific meanings. They specify character and distinction of an individual. So the purpose of a name is not only to distinguish one person from another, that could easily be done with nothing more than a number. For the purpose of having a name is to apply a more meaningful definition to an individual's distinction. So imagine you're from a tribe of 10,000 members from yonder, and your name is simply the number 823. You would be referred to as 823 from yonder. And your name is simply the number 823. Okay, so that means absolutely nothing, really, except that you're none of the other 9,999 individuals from the tribe from yonder. However, if I were to call out 4,040 from yonder, I would probably not get a response from you saying that your number is 823, and you wouldn't even be bothered by my call. You wouldn't recognize me calling 4,040. You would be trained, however, to recognize the number 823, much like anybody else would recognize their name when called out. It's like, oh, was that my name? So, firstly, as simple as this type of naming system would be, it still has very definitive function of indexing individuals in the collective. And secondly, anyone associated with this naming system would understand that they are represented by their own exclusive number and none of the other individuals in the collective share their same name. So if I want to address tribe member 823, I should call out 823 and not expect a response from anyone else. Does that make sense? Is that fair? I think that yes should be the correct answer to both of those questions at this point. So now, in the real world, our naming systems are far more complex and intimate than that type of a numbering system would be, granted. Every culture has a history of applying specific meanings to their offspring in the form of a word or multiple words that represent the desired meaning that they want to apply to their offspring. Take, for instance, the culture that is nearest and dearest to our original America, the Native American culture, or the Native American Indians, the American Indians, if you will. Simply put, they received names corresponding to the experience that the mother had during labor while she was in childbirth. And that would most often be what she saw during that time. If she happened to see an eagle flying overhead, she would more than likely name her newborn child Flying Eagle. Subsequently, everyone in her culture would understand that the child's name means that the mother saw a flying eagle when the child was born. That child would grow up with the teachings of their culture and an imprint of pride and respect for the meaning of the name that was received at birth. That's pretty meaningful. That's a big thing. Everybody likes their own name. It's who they are. It's what defines their character. So similarly, in other cultures, names have been generated from a desire to reflect a concept or a characteristic of nobility, such as Braveheart or Strong Sword. This is especially true of many Eastern cultures as well, going back in history even thousands of years. For instance, the name Alan has an ancient Celtic origin which means small rock or small yet strong. But in contrast, the very similar sounding name Ellen is actually a medieval version of the ancient Greek mythological name Helen. That means shining light or bright torch, as is claimed to be the daughter of Zeus or Helen of Troy. You've probably heard about that. And I can also imagine that Alan doesn't want to be referred to as a pretty little shining torch when he is a strong rock. So now with this understanding, it's critically incorrect to refer to Alan as Ellen. Although they are spelled and sound very similar, the two names are worlds apart in their meanings, and it is extremely inaccurate and inappropriate to refer to one as the other. They don't have the same labels because their characteristics are not the same. But let's go ahead and focus on the primary origins of these naming systems, which takes us way back to the ancient Middle East, the land of the nomadic Bedouins. These ancient people were not the first to apply a profound concept of represented by a single word as a naming system, but it is crucial to focus on the ancient Hebraic naming system of the Bedouins because it was that system which formed the structure of the ancient Hebraic scriptures in particular. So for a moment, let's reflect upon some very basic science. Different subject for a second. Let's follow along, please. The simple laws of physics. Okay, everyone knows about the law of gravity, for instance, right? Okay, so let's create a scenario here where I toss a ball up into the air. The law of gravity demands that the energy deposited into the ball causes it to rise up until that energy is exhausted. Then the law of gravity takes over and pushes the ball right back down, right? I think we all can agree, and hopefully everyone is following along at this point. So now let's imagine that you've been taught all of your life to believe that the same ball rising up against gravity will expel all of its energy and then just stop moving where the energy ran out and just stay there indefinitely until some other force comes along and causes it to do something else, which we all know because we understand the laws of physics that is incorrect. That's not what's going to happen. Now, would you then have no reason to expect the ball to simply fall back to Earth immediately after completing its journey upwards because you were never taught that gravity works like that? Would you insist and tell all of your friends that the ball will just stay up there? Now, okay, case in point, who among you would say that the ball should stay up there? And who among you would say that the ball should follow the laws of gravity and fall back to Earth? The truth is, no matter what you think that you know, whatever you believe, whatever you've been taught, it has no effect. Truth is, the ball has no other option than to obey the laws of physics. That's what it's governed by. Like it or not, the ball is going to fall back down. Thinking, believing, or saying something else does not affect the laws of physics. So because Yahweh created the laws of physics obey Yahweh's commands, not ours. What you believe does not change the truth about the facts. Like I like to say, put a pin in that. Now, let's apply what we just learned to the concept of names, specifically the names of our Creator. He told us his name. He told his name specifically to Abraham or Abraham and to Moshe or Moses. He referred to himself as Echya, Asher Echya, which I've covered before, which literally means the existence of all things. And he instructed them both to call him To others, according to the alphabet, you would say Yud He Vav He, which is pronounced in even modern Hebraic as Yahweh. And again, this means our existence is a byproduct of his existence. It means the same thing. So Yahweh referred to himself as Ehya, Asher, Ehya, and commanded Avram and Moshe to call him Yahweh. That's like saying you are versus he is, or what do you expect him to do? Okay, it's that same kind of a contrast, a flip-flop. If I'm referring to myself, I'm going to say I. If you're referring to me, you're going to say you. That's the same concept that's applied here. Yahweh referred to himself as Ehya, Asher, Ehya. In his terminology, that means all things exist through my existence. And you may refer to me in this way. You are a product of his existence. That's basically what he said. Now moving on to the idea of when Yahweh actually came to earth to undo the trap of deception about him that was created by Lucifer, none other. He was called Emmanuel, which means Yahweh amongst men. And the name given to the human that he occupied actually was an extension of his already existing name that he told Moshe, which is Yahweh Shua. In modern phonics, it has been pronounced as Yeshua, which is pretty accurate, actually. Yahweh has a huge issue with being called by any other name than his own name. His name is not, nor has it ever been, God. This is what we need to get in our vocabulary, change our vocabulary, and get out the deception of Lucifer and allow Yahweh to correct our misunderstanding, our misteaching, with his teachings of what the real true facts are. Kind of like the difference between when you throw the ball up, it's going to come back down because of the laws of physics. In the same way, Lucifer has deceived men to believe that the meanings of names don't matter. Therefore, if you throw the ball up, it should just stay there and you should believe that. And much in the same way, he's like, well, the name of your God is Jesus Christ, and you should just believe that because I said so. Yahweh never called himself that. In fact, he hates those names. They're pagan. I went over that in a previous video in, I think it was the second volume in the series, Ancient Paganism Equals Modern Religion. So go back and check those. I can probably put a link in the description to this one so that you see that one. But if you're on my channel, you're going to see those anyway. So I would advise you to go and take a look at those and kind of keep up with that and catch the other videos that are coming in that series as well. It'll be far more informative. So the truth is, Yahweh never referred to himself and never instructed anyone to call him God. He is not God. He is not a God. Gods are idols, man-made idols that they worship. So going even further yet, his name isn't Jesus Christ either. That's not his name. He never told anyone that. In fact, that's another man-made thing that came from Greek idols. Yahweh hates all gods. He hates all idols. Any such wrong name does not describe Yahweh's distinction, nor will Yahweh respond in any positive way when we address him using any wrong name. Now, I've heard pretty much all the arguments, such as, oh, God knows my heart. He knows who I'm referring to when I say something wrong, so does it really matter what I call him because he knows that I'm talking to him? Truth is, yeah, he does know that you're talking to him. Okay, of course Yahweh knows what you mean when you use the wrong name to address him, much in the same way that he also knows that everyone has been taught for centuries and trained by the world to address him incorrectly using the wrong name. And that's exactly Lucifer's agenda, to deceive the whole world. Always has been, right from the start. His agenda is to deceive the whole world and turn the entire world against Yahweh. Hello? I mean, all of the scripture says that. So we should already know that everything that we're living in now is one of his attempts to deceive us. So at this point, I would also like to kind of appeal to you with this and keep this in mind, that if someone keeps calling you something that is absolutely not your name, you're going to get kind of sick of it at some point, and at the very least, you're probably going to try to ignore them, especially if they keep doing it even after being told your correct name. If your name is Jane and I keep calling you John or Bill, you're going to be like, hey, stop it. That's not my name. You know what? I'm not even going to listen to you anymore. Do you not understand that Yahweh has much more intensity to his emotions and his feelings and his perception than we do? So again, what you think you know, it doesn't change the truth about the facts of Yahweh's name any more than it changed the laws of physics for the ball that we just discussed. You know, we don't get to tell Yahweh what we will insist upon calling him. We get to obey his commands and call him what he wants to be called. These are Yahweh's laws. It's that simple. We don't get to make Yahweh's laws. We're required to follow his laws. If we don't, we're not his. So at this point, I really do appreciate that you're following along and watching my videos. These are hard things to hear. They were hard for me to learn when I learned them. And everyone that I talk to has a problem with the things that I'm saying, because undoing the deception of hundreds of years of Lucifer's deception is no small task. It's Yahweh's task. And I'm going to do what he tells me to do. I'm going to tell the truth. And if you don't like it, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to make you like it. I can't make you like it. You can make your own decision about what you think about the truth. It's entirely up to you. So until we get to the next video, I sure hope that you subscribe so that you will see the upcoming videos that I'm going to be making, and they're all filled with truth. I'm not making this stuff up, okay? This comes from him, not me. And until then, I absolutely insist Yahweh bless you, because I'm glad that you're following along at this point. So until next time, we'll see you.